Hey, welcome to A Foreigner in the Philippines. Well, I got a few minutes to do something in, so I thought I'd just make a video. What are we doing right at this time? Usually every night we eat very late here. We have dinner. We have dinner at Nanai's house. So Nanai's house is about 30 feet away from ours. It's on a different level, and it's 20 to 8 by this clock here. Usually, because we actually don't have a kitchen, so it doesn't really bother us. Although I keep promising myself that I will get down to doing the kitchen, and so far haven't managed to do too much more. Well, I like to go down to Nanai's. Now, for anybody who doesn't realize how important Nanay is, the Nanay, in any Filipino family, then you really have a lot to learn. Nanay is the foundation. She is the most important. She's the bedrock of the family. She is Nanay. Now, a lot of people who are quite jaded pointed out to me, Terence, how can Nanay be your Nanay if you're older than she is? Which I accept, okay. But then I accept that because usually I'm older than anybody else that's around. Anyway, she is the one that is always here. She is. I'm very fortunate man in that I'm surrounded by women here on our hilltop. Of course, my wife Beth, and Nanay, my Nanay, my mother-in-law. Jessica also lives just down the hill. Lena lives just down the hill, and if you've seen us at the dinner table, then you will have seen that we meet as a family, not a complete whole family, but we do have Nanay is there saying grace every night, which I've gotten used to. I didn't do this. This was not part of my own rituals, but now I wouldn't dream of sitting down at Nanay's table and trying to start my meal before Nanay has said grace. In fact, she will call us probably in a few minutes' time. She will call Beth, and then we'll go down and we'll have dinner. And dinner will have been cooked by Vek, and Vek is the wife of Julio, who lives just on the other side of the bridge. Vek, the family needed to have money, extra income coming in. They have a young teenage girl who's in school at the moment and will graduate soon, we hope, and they needed extra income. And she actually was talking about going to Cebu, and she would have been at Cebu from Monday to Friday, inclusive of Monday and Friday. So she would have been coming home probably Saturday morning, for all I know, or the last ferry on Friday night. And that would have meant that she wouldn't really be seeing that much of her family. She would be out of the area, out of our little family community. So we offered her a job. We offered her a job helping Nanay in the same way that she would have helped somebody else on Cebu. But this time she would not have to leave, and the family would benefit, and so would we. And she cooks. Most nights she is the one that cooks, helping Nanay and the two of them, and she is a companion for Nanay too. And that works very well. Now, Nana is incredibly important to us, so anything that helps her and keeps her happy is of great importance to us, and we nurture her very, very much. When we first came to Bohol, our first idea, as I've said obviously many times, our first idea was that we were going to come here and live cheaply, not trying to change anything, and save our money, and we thought of going abroad. And it was only when we came here that Beth realized that, having left home when she was not quite 15, she left home and went to stay with her brother in Cebu, and to get a job and to become a working student. And she had been over there ever since. So she had never really had the time, the quality time with her mother. And once we got here and the bond was reset, we realized that this actually was very important time. And a lot of people leave home early and never actually get to know their parents. For myself, I left home when I was 15 and a half and went into the army, so never really knew my parents. I don't think, in many ways, I don't think that you do know your parents, unless they are the kind who are very expressive, in which case, yes, you do. But my father, in my case, my father was almost deaf, very, very hard of hearing. He had a hearing aid, which back in those days, I think, was made by Fred Flintstone, because if he did not tune it very delicately, it actually would feed back and whistle, and it wasn't really much use. So there was him, and then there was my mother, and she was a worker. She went out and she worked, and for a lot of me, it was a very hard life for them. They also, another aspect of them that I didn't quite understand at the time that I was there as a kid, was that they were in the middle of a mixed marriage. Now, a mixed marriage back in those days in the north of England was a marriage between a Protestant, a Roman Catholic, and an absolute no-no. So they had a very difficult time. They were ostracized by both families and loved each other very much, but had to agree that each would leave his and her own family. Well, in a way, Beth did that for economic reasons. She went so that she could get a job, and she studied at first, and then when she got a job, she was able to start sending money home to help her parents, who she knew were having a hard time. Even so, it was a hard time all around. So coming back to Bohol, for me, of course, it was the first time, but we were able to support Nanai. Now, Beth's dad died about 5 or 6 years ago. I'm struggling to remember that. I think it was 5 or 6 years ago. It was before we came back to Bohol. So he was gone, and Nanai was living not alone, because she was taking care of children, grandchildren, which is often the role of the elderly parent. Sometimes they become the mother and father of grandchildren, because the actual parents, their sons and daughters, have to leave and work abroad to make any money. So we came back, and we very quickly found that our mission was other than what we had thought it was. And it was an interesting time, and has remained an interesting time ever since. Beth continually sits back from her computer and says, I just want a simple life. I want goats and chickens and a carabao, and I don't want this complicated life. And then she sits back to the computer and she gets on with her job again, which is pretty well what we both have arrived at doing. I've been working on making furniture today, and I will look forward to another complete day in what I'll call the workshop, but on the tools. And we're making some furniture for some island kids that are living in a dormitory down in Taliban. So that's the job tomorrow, and I'll hope to have the 3 pieces that are almost at the point where they can be filled and sanded and painted. So I'll look forward to being able to do a video on that tomorrow. Thanks for looking in. I've just been waffling on until dinner. Oh gosh, it's 8 minutes to 8 and we still haven't been called. Okay, bye for now.